For decades, the poultry industry has conditioned us to believe that the standard chicken is the absolute, undisputed monarch of egg production. However, today we are going to completely dismantle that long-standing illusion using pure applied genetics. Imagine an upright bird, standing almost perfectly vertical, walking with the distinct cadence of a penguin. A fascinating animal that has completely sacrificed the ability to fly for a physical design created for maximum daily efficiency. We are talking about the Indian runner duck, a biological production machine that aggressively defies every established standard. In this deep analysis, we are going to break down the real numbers of its on-farm profitability. I will show you exactly how this specific breed can effortlessly outperform the very best commercial layers you currently have in your coops. We promise exact metrics, feed conversion ratios, and laying rates that will redefine your entire concept of performance. But stay closely tuned to the information. At the end of this technical evaluation, I will reveal a fundamental secret about their immunological resistance and strategic management techniques for you today. Let's begin. The origin of this formidable bird takes us back to the vast landscapes of Southeast Asia. Specifically, we look toward the immense plains and wetlands of the Indonesian archipelago. For centuries, the Indian runner duck was never raised in strict captivity or pampered with commercial formulated feed inside a modern barn. Instead, it was subjected to rigorous natural selection in the open field alongside active human management. Their survival depended exclusively on their innate ability to travel swiftly across vast rice paddies, relentlessly searching for daily forage while facing incredibly adverse climatic conditions. This harsh environmental pressure meticulously sculpted their genetics, giving them that unique, highly efficient physical design we see today. Unlike traditional heavy ducks, which present a bulky, boat-shaped body designed heavily for buoyancy, the Indian runner is radically different. It possesses a slender, cylindrical structure engineered specifically for maximum terrestrial mobility. Their legs are located unusually far back, forcing an upright posture that dramatically optimizes their ability to run across dry land with astonishing speed. Everything about their exterior design screams agile movement and extreme energetic efficiency. There is absolutely no extra room in this streamlined body to accumulate excess fat or superfluous muscle tissue. Because of this, we are talking about a very manageable weight for the dynamics of any active homestead. A mature drake will barely reach between 4.4 and 5.1 pounds. The active breeding female remains in an even lighter, more aerodynamic range of 4 to 4.4 pounds. Technically speaking, it is entirely possible to reach a reasonable butcher weight between 8 and 10 weeks of age if they are aggressively pushed with a high-calorie diet. But I will tell you with the bluntness our profession demands, utilizing an Indian runner duck exclusively for meat production is an absolute waste of its monumental genetic potential. It is the exact equivalent of using a purebred racing horse to pull a heavy plow. Their true heritage value resides entirely in their tireless capacity for continuous egg-laying, not in their breast meat yield. When you put this species face-to-face against the absolute best lines of commercial laying chickens, the result is truly astonishing. The Indian runner does not just compete side by side with modern industrial lines. In real-world open-field scenarios, it effortlessly outperforms them with a crushing statistical advantage that is impossible to ignore. A genetically stable female, coming from strong laying lines and managed correctly, delivers an incredible annual yield. We are talking about a massive volume that consistently fluctuates between 300 and 350 eggs per season under optimal management. That is a relentless, continuous flow that very few domestic birds can naturally match without burning out. The financial impact on your wallet does not rely exclusively on the sheer quantity of units collected. The massive difference lies in the overwhelming physical weight of each individual egg produced. While a standard commercial-grade chicken egg struggles to maintain a weight between 1.9 and 2.1 ounces, the Indian runner's egg predictably averages between 2.3 and 2.8 ounces. We are talking about a significantly larger, premium-grade egg. It boasts a yolk of extraordinary proportions, rich in valuable lipids, and features an egg white of vastly superior density. These are highly prized characteristics in professional baking and premium niche markets that gladly pay top dollar per dozen. To safely sustain this titanic level of production, nature and selective breeding have completely deactivated a major poultry obstacle, the troublesome broody instinct. In the vast majority of rustic heritage chicken breeds, seasonal hormonal spikes easily trigger broodiness. This biological shift instantly halts the ovulation cycle and paralyzes the profitability of your flock for weeks on end. The Indian runner duck, however, possesses a maternal incubation instinct that is practically non-existent in daily dynamics. Their biological clock does not pause to raise ducklings in a cozy nest. Because they do not go broody, the production line remains fully active without interruption throughout their entire productive lifespan. This guarantees you a steady, highly secure cash flow. It is the operational consistency every serious homesteader pursues relentlessly. Translating this prodigious biological capacity into real business numbers requires us to analyze their daily feeding requirements. Maintaining a relentless laying cycle demands highly precise nutritional support. A seasoned producer knows that constantly forming massive 80-gram eggs generates an enormous physical toll. Therefore, these animals require a strictly balanced diet every single day. The protein level must be locked within the critical range of 16 to 18%. This must be rigorously complemented with an inexhaustible supply of bioavailable calcium to guarantee the structural hardness of the calcium-rich shell during such a prolonged productive cycle. Under strict confinement conditions, without any access to green pastures, the daily consumption of commercial feed for a healthy adult specimen usually ranges between 4.6 and 5.3 ounces. At this accounting level, your monthly operating cost might seem nearly identical to maintaining an industrial laying hen. But this is exactly where the rugged, biological design of the Indian runner alters the financial equation in your absolute favor. This bird is a relentless and tireless forager. Unlike traditional chickens that scratch aggressively and destroy the pasture with sharp claws, the Indian runner applies a much less invasive technique. It uses the delicate tip of its bill like a highly sensitive natural radar. It patiently tracks the damp surface of the paddock, catching hidden food without ever uprooting or damaging the valuable roots of your forage plants. That is where their true strategic genius lies for optimizing the homestead. They possess an astonishing capacity to seek out and devour slugs, snails, and a vast diversity of harmful insects. By actively doing this, they effectively become the most ecological pest control system you could integrate into a dynamic agricultural ecosystem. Every wild snail consumed provides high-quality animal protein and minerals entirely free of charge. This incredible subsidy from nature immediately replaces a significant fraction of the expensive commercial feed you would normally have to purchase. It creates a perfect balance between generating premium eggs and autonomously harvesting free food from the environment. By integrating them, you drastically reduce fixed overhead costs and multiply the profit margin of your productive unit over the long term. Going deeper into their ancient lineage, the homesteader must understand that maintaining the correct morphology is vital to preserve this incredible efficiency. Meticulous phenotypic selection is not just simple aesthetics designed to win local poultry shows. It is the unshakable foundation of their high economic yield. When rigorously evaluating future replacement breeders for your flock rotation, it is imperative to always observe the impeccable symmetry of that cylindrical body, the anatomical straightness of the neck, and the total absence of a broad chest. Any visible deviation toward a more horizontal body shape indicates an unacceptable loss of purity and foreshadows an inevitable drop in their overall laying rate. Furthermore, their tightly fitted plumage is physiologically designed to provide top-tier thermal insulation, allowing the bird to efficiently redirect its metabolic energy directly toward the continuous formation of ovarian follicles. Maintaining this rigor in your technical management guarantees every productive cycle heavily surpasses the previous one in health and extreme profitability. This is the true secret of professional breeders who dominate the elite heritage poultry market year after year without failing. To ensure this immense productive potential isn't permanently lost, it's fundamental to fully understand their reproductive dynamics. We have established that the maternal instinct was virtually erased after centuries of breeding focused on massive egg laying. Therefore, the safe multiplication of your flock relies entirely on your technical ability to master artificial incubation. This process differs quite a bit from the traditional management we use with standard chicken eggs. The duck egg is a unique biological structure. It possesses a much thicker protective cuticle and a completely different level of shell porosity, created by evolution to resist extremely humid wild environments. For this reason, your incubator must be carefully configured to maintain a constant and precise temperature of 99.5 degrees Fahrenheit during the first 25 days of embryonic development. In addition, the internal humidity of the machine must fluctuate between 60 and 65% to prevent the internal membrane from suffocating the developing duckling. The practical secret that separates novices from true experts lies in the programmed cooling process. Starting on the 9th day inside the machine, it's necessary to remove all the eggs from the incubator in a controlled manner for 15 minutes daily. During that time, you must gently spray them with a fine mist of water at room temperature. This simple daily practice biologically mimics a free-ranging mother that temporarily abandons her nest to swim and then returns to cover the clutch with her soaked plumage. This refreshing thermal shock provokes a beneficial biological reaction. It stimulates the exchange of fresh oxygen through the thick shell and strengthens the small heart of the developing duckling. Applying this daily technique with discipline will guarantee you hatch rates well over 80% in fertile eggs, ensuring the rapid growth of your precision biological asset on the farm. Once this hatching phase is mastered, your operational strategy for setting up the breeding pens comes into play. The correct ratio between males and females determines the vigor of the offspring and the productive lifespan of the reproductive flock. Unlike a vigorous rooster who can easily manage groups of up to 12 hens, the Indian runner demands a different biological balance. The recommended proportion is 1 male for every 5 actively laying females. Exceeding this limit results in a sharp drop in the quantity of fertile eggs collected. The physical exhaustion during mating in this species is high due to their vertical posture. When selecting the flock sire who will lead your genetic line, you must not only look for that perfect cylindrical shape, you must also observe his daily energy levels, his alert attitude, and the strength in his legs. These details are critical for a walking animal that spends the entire day patrolling the terrain. It's a common misconception to assume that these ducks need deep ponds to mate successfully. While they enjoy clean water for bathing, they're perfectly capable of mating effectively on dry land or using shallow water pans to get the job done. This rustic adaptability reduces construction expenses on your property. Furthermore, selective breeding allows you to work with a variety of plumage colors. This includes homozygous and heterozygous patterns like pure white, glossy black, complex trout, and elegant fawn. Seasoned producers intentionally cross different color lines every breeding season. They do this because injecting fresh genetics prevents inbreeding depression from taking root in the flock. This silent problem rapidly reduces the size of the premium-grade egg, depresses the hatch rate, and weakens the bone structure of subsequent generations. To avoid these genetic headaches, you must maintain daily records. The methodical use of identification leg bands and trap nests installed at ground level is a mandatory rule. This is the only professional way to successfully identify your champion females. We're talking about those exceptional birds that manage to lay well over 320 eggs in a single year. By strategically separating them from the average layers, you ensure that only the best genetics multiply productively in your farming operation. Achieving this selective isolation guarantees the long-term financial strength and the survival of your flock against any genetic adversity that may present itself. We now reach the most important part of this technical evaluation. It's the moment to reveal that detail that alters the profit margins of your agricultural project. The greatest economic advantage of the Indian runner duck isn't the quantity of eggs it faithfully delivers season after season. Its most valuable asset is a natural immunological shield and its rusticity against the problems of the open field. Analyzing the operating expenses of a farm based on high genetic commercial hens reveals a harsh financial reality. Portions of money are spent on vaccination programs. You also lose a lot of budget on costly preventative antibiotics and medicines. This pharmaceutical expenditure is vital to stop contagious avian diseases that destroy businesses, such as deadly coccidiosis, Marek's disease, or aggressive respiratory infections. The Indian runner duck plays the game with a natural advantage coded in its genes. Thanks to the fact that its basal body temperature is slightly higher, and due to its origin in Asian wetlands, its baseline health is forged from solid iron. Its internal defense system is stronger and resistant to common pests that usually decimate fragile flocks. The presence of internal parasites in these rustic animals is statistically irrelevant during daily work. This remains clean by applying a basic rotational grazing strategy over green pasture. This flock immunity functions as a protective shield for your wallet at the end of every month. In practice, it means that a seasoned producer can forget about buying medicines every week. All of this decreases the overall veterinary expense of the farm to a minimal number. This capacity to resist diseases is also noticed in their tolerance to changes in the local climate. While some delicate laying hens demand enclosed barns with heating to survive a harsh winter, the Indian runner requires no modern luxuries. Their dense layer of feathers, coated with natural waterproofing oils, acts as an impenetrable thermal jacket against the extreme cold. This barrier allows them to maintain their laying cycle and continue searching for fresh forage under downpours or morning frosts. Their nocturnal housing doesn't need complicated wooden designs or high perches. They only require a spacious, well-ventilated shelter built at ground level, bedded with straw to protect their webbed feet from the frozen ground. This lack of structural demands frees up cash in your budget. You can use those saved funds to expand your flock. When you decide to implement multi-species integration, placing these agile ducks alongside large cattle in your paddocks, they become the perfect natural cleaners of the open field. They act as tireless field hands, consuming thousands of fly larvae from the cow manure and breaking the life cycle of stomach parasites that affect your larger herd. They achieve this biological sanitation without eating the green grass that your ruminants need to gain weight. This efficient multi-species rotational grazing maximizes the total yield of every square foot of your property. It reduces your annual expenditure on farm chemicals and transforms your property into an agricultural model capable of surviving economic and climatic crises that may affect the cost of inputs in your region. The Indian runner duck has thoroughly proven to be much more than a simple biological curiosity designed to decorate the open field. It's a true precision biological asset, carefully molded to maximize real profitability for your family in any serious operation oriented toward productive self-sufficiency. By consciously deciding to stop depending exclusively on highly delicate commercial chickens, the modern homesteader successfully manages to armor their budget against the skyrocketing cost of feed inputs and recurring veterinary expenses. We've meticulously analyzed how their incredible metabolism completely transforms severe and common agricultural problems into rich resources for your entire property. Now's the right time to honestly evaluate your daily strategy in the pens. I want to know your opinion in the comments. Tell me if you're fully ready to take the definitive leap toward this incredible level of farm efficiency, or if you already have Indian runners working tirelessly inside your property. Please don't forget to subscribe, leave us your valuable like, and support this channel entirely focused on elite heritage poultry genetics. To your success, fellow breeder. Until next time.